Today I'm going to talk about one of my favorite topics that I've been teaching for many years, which is alter ego activation. And the reason why I love this topic so much is because it has transformed my life. It has transformed the life of the leaders I work with. It has helped so many people to have the courage to live their life in a way that they never imagined. And why I want you to have this session is because you are here. In my mind, you are here because you want to grow to become your biggest, highest potential. You are here to live a limitless life. This is not just, me and Barak talks about the word mediocre. It's not about, I am settling for okay. There's no one here that want to play an okay life. We are here because we know that we are here to create. We are here to live a beautiful life. We are here to have joy and love and connection and freedom and abundance and all of that. Really limitless life. And with that comes limitless potential of service, limitless potential of exploring our full capacity, becoming, like I would say, one of the great. And I want you to feel into this. What does it mean for you to become one of the great? If you think about you becoming one of the people who are going to be remembered in history, in your communities, the people that if someone says, she really changed her industry, she really changed her community, she really created an impact on the world, on the society, on her network of her village, whatever that is that you are doing today, you are one of the greatest because the legacy, the footprint that you're leaving behind is bigger than you. And to be able to play on that level, Tony Robbins talks about success leaving clues. And one of those clues is alter egos. For me, alter egos came across as something that I didn't even know. And I'll tell you the story how I came across that. But what I realized that alter egos is something that I cannot think of one person who has not used that, who has become one of the greatest. We're talking about celebrities, we're talking about artists, we're talking about actors, politicians, athletes, high-level athletes. They all used and use alter egos. But when we know how to use it, this is when we get into the superpower of ours. Throughout the years, I've been working with leaders and founders and amazing women and men who are dreamers, creators, who want to create beautiful things in this world, beautiful impact. The fastest way, the most powerful way to tap into their superpowers, their courage, their peak performance has been through this activation I'm going to take you through today. Because there are going to be moments when you will doubt yourself, for sure, when you have fears and when you are having doubts that are stopping you from taking action, from going for your dreams and desires. And what I want you to remember in that moment is where to access your courage, because that access and courage is, of course, through your peer group, through your network, from us, but more importantly, it's for yourself. I want you to have the power within yourself to access courage that goes beyond any of your fears when you're building your business, when you're building your impact. And feel free to share anything that comes up for you in the chat. If it helps you to resonate with this and reflect on this, you're super welcome to use the chat. In 2018, I am standing on the stage in Amsterdam, and I'm in this beautiful location. It's the first time I'm a paid speaker in an event, and I am booked for this convention for a franchise, for a corporate event with lots of people, 38 countries flown together for their annual convention, and I'm one of the speakers. And I'm standing there in a full room of men and women wearing suits. I never worked in corporate, so for me, I feel very much, what am I doing here? First of all, it's the first time I'm paid to speak, so I'm very nervous. There are only people double the age of my own age, and most of them are real estate agents that I have never really met. I knew one real estate agent by that time. And I'm there for the annual convention. I'm there to speak about social selling. And I have 2 days of speaking. The first day I'm in this room and I'm standing there and I'm so nervous and I'm standing there And I'm feeling like the good, kind girl because I want to do a good job. I want to be able to really create, I want to be good for the organizer who booked me, who paid me to fly there, to support me, to bring my ex-partner as my assistant to help me. Like I'm so nervous and I want to do great impressions. So I come out as this shy, kind girl that wants to do good. And the problem is that as I'm so shy and nervous, the people in the audience, they are not even looking at me. So there I'm starting my presentation and they're looking on their phones. They're speaking with their friends. They're completely ignoring me. And I am feeling that I am losing the audience. Like I have my presentation, I'm speaking there, but nobody really connects with me. And it's so scary that I am just losing my confidence more and more on stage until one point, about 1/3 of the audience just walks out from the room. So you can imagine, like I'm standing on this stage, I have this presentation, they're standing up, they're listening, but they're not really listening. And I feel so bad that I've been booked. And I'm thinking probably I'm not ready to be a paid speaker. What am I doing here? And I feel really shitty that day. And as I come out the stage, I'm sitting, I'm thinking, oh my God, tomorrow I have to go again. I have to go again with the same audience. And tomorrow is going to be even worse because I'm going to speak with the elite broker. So that's basically going from the real estate agents to elite, the top of this crowd, even scarier audience. So I'm standing there and my ex-partner is an incredible public speaking trainer. He sees me and we sit down and we reflect on this, what just happened. He said, okay, we have 24 hours to turn this around. Tomorrow, you're gonna go and nobody is going to leave the room. Nobody is gonna stand out and you're gonna be so powerful. But now you need to bring your leadership because they don't see you as a leader. They see you as this shy girl that wanna please them. And they can sense it that you are not ready to hold this space. You need to step up and you have 24 hours to do. And I'm thinking, okay, he said, what are the characters of someone who can hold that room, of those elite brokers, mostly men, double the age of you, in suits, and you are this young girl who's supposed to hold the crowd and take them through something. And I'm thinking, I need to be fierce, I need to be strong, I need to be powerful, I need to bring the fire, and I need to be able to hold the energy so they see that I can meet them like eye to eye. I'm not afraid of them. And now we go and I think, who has these characters? Beyoncé. For me, Beyoncé represents the most powerful performer that I can think of. When she goes on stage, she just goes and she has this fire. If you know a bit about her history, she's an amazing businesswoman. She has done great things in her business in terms of her rights with Netflix, and really she knows what she's doing. She knows how to really create a career. And I'm thinking, let me just channel Beyoncé. Like I'm going in as Beyoncé. Day 2, we're gonna just go in and we're gonna go strong. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm in Super Bowl, I'm entering this room and I'm just gonna perform. And I'm going so strong in her energy. So next day, this is what I'm practicing, and I'm coming into the room and I say, okay, it's showtime. And I start with, who here has ever got leads? I used to talk about LinkedIn, from LinkedIn. And everyone raised their hand, all are super arrogant. Yeah, of course, I had it. Who is this girl who's going to talk about it? And I told them, okay, amazing. Who here gets leads from LinkedIn every day? And then one person raised their hand. And then they get quiet. I do this every day. I get leads every day. My clients get leads every day. In the 60 upcoming minutes, I'm going to teach you how to do that. And I just go right into that. The energy in the room is quiet. I see that nobody is moving. I just channel her for 60 minutes. I just channel Beyoncé and I just go, you better listen up because I know what I'm talking about. Nobody moves. When someone opens their phone, the neighbors say, shh, stop doing this. She's talking. I'm not kidding. This is next day. Stop doing this. She's talking. They're shushing each other so I can speak. Nobody leaves the room. Nobody exits even to go to the bathroom. And when I finish, there is a line of people. waiting to book me to their own country's conventions, to their own businesses. In 24 hours, I've gone from being a fail, epic fail of this shy girl who's completely scared, who doesn't know what she's doing, that is feeling like they're the lions and I'm the antelope on the stage. Oh my God, they're gonna eat me. To completely shifting the power dynamic, to knowing exactly what I'm here for. And that power that I came with in 24 hours by channeling an alter ego, tapping into her potential of Beyoncé, took me out of the situation. That was the first time I discovered what an alter ego even was. And when I understood the power of that, being in shock while I just explored without even knowing how I got there, somehow we got there, somehow the alter ego entered my world, without even knowing that, there I was. So in 24 hours, I shifted the environment completely. And that was the beginning of me understanding that there's something around this work that I have not even tapped into. And I started studying it, and I started looking at that. Actually, this is a type of archetypal work that every person that want to access their superpowers in their business, that it factor, like you call it, will do. It's not a negotiable. If you want to be a 7-figure business owner, you want to have an impact of millions, if you want to be able to be the super version of yourself, to have the courage to do things that other people are not able to do, like your best role models, your best authors, actors, athletes, celebrities, whoever you follow, they all have done it. So now it's up to us to start doing that. I'll give you a couple of examples, because when I came across Beyoncé, I didn't realize that was an actual inception. Beyoncé, if you know her story, I started to research her. Beyoncé actually had her own alter ego. At that point, I discovered that she had an alter ego that she called Sasha Fierce. It comes from a family of gospel. She was educated to be in church and to sing. She was the good girl, and she had sisters, and they were all there. And then when she became famous, she was going on the stage and she was asked to do things that were very sexy, wearing small clothes, being very provocative and big, and all that she didn't have inside of herself. She could not access it because she was this polite church gospel girl that grew up in a very traditional environment. So for her to be able to go on stage and do what she was doing, she created a character. And that character was called Sasha Fierce. And if you know about her albums, one of her albums is even called Sasha Fierce. And if you listen to some of her quotes from the past, she talked about this capacity to, like, when I go on stage, she says, when I go on stage, when I do this beautiful performance, the show, the glitter, the clothes, the sexy dance, it's not me, it's Sasha Fierce. Sasha Fierce takes over, and she's the one leading the show. If you talk about Lady Gaga, maybe you think Lady Gaga is not her real name. I don't remember her name right now, but Lady Gaga has several archetypes when it comes to that. If you're familiar with Kobe Bryant, one of the athletes that passed a couple of years ago in a flight accident, his alter ego was called Black Mamba. Beyoncé, Kobe Bryant, Lady Gaga, all of them are names that you will hear and you've heard before. I want to read you a quote about Marilyn Monroe. Of course, Marilyn Monroe stays, she's alive in our lives. Everyone knows about Marilyn Monroe. A beautiful part that really shows me the power of an alter ego activation. I'm going to read this for you. I'll never forget the day Marilyn and I were walking around New York City, just having a stroll on a nice day. She loved New York because no one bothered her there like they did in Hollywood. She could put on her plain Jane clothes and no one would notice her. She loved that. So as we are walking down Broadway, she turns to me and says, "Do you want to see me become her?" I didn't know what she meant. I just said yes. And then I saw it. I don't know how to explain it, what she did, because it was so very subtle. But she turned something on within herself that was almost like magic. And suddenly cars were slowing and people were turning their heads and stopping to stare. They were recognizing that this was Marilyn Monroe, as if she pulled off a mask or something. And even though a second ago nobody noticed her, I have never seen anything like this before. When I went in 2018 on that stage, first day and second day, I was not the same person. In 24 hours, I could shift that around. And in my life, in my business, I've used this tool over and over again, especially when I've been in environments where I had to do things that felt like superpowers for me. When I had to do things that I was so scared of, and say, how can I even do this? How can I even go on the stage with 300 people, 1,000 people? How can I even publish this book? Who am I to do that? When all my imposter was just making me cry and feeling like I don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. It's too scary. Then I went and I asked myself, who can help me in this moment? And this has helped me throughout so many moments in my business when new opportunities were coming, that of course, as we are growing every level, there are new levels of growth and new levels of lessons that I have not learned that yet. So I had to access parts of myself from someone else that could help me to do this. Today, I want to take you through the steps to access your alter egos for your business and for your mission and for your impact. Because when you learn to do this, you will be able to have any situation coming your way and having a certain superpower that you can access inside of you that will help you to overcome that. And the first step I want to talk to you about is choosing your play field. So as everything is foundational with your vision, when you have the big vision of what you are creating, when you're connecting with the vision of your impact, your message, your income, your feeling, what do you want to do in your life, how you want to show up for yourself, your values, then are going to be the moments in your business. The step number one is choosing the play fields that you need to explore, where you need an extra superpower. In this part of my life, in this part of my business, I need to access something that is beyond me. This can be, let's talk about a couple of examples, and I want you to think about that. What are the parts in your business where you are feeling that you need to access this extra power? One of them for me is for sure stage. When I am speaking on a bigger stage, when I am speaking in front of an audience that is bigger in some type of stage that I'm not so familiar with yet, then I will access this play. I will start thinking about the play field in which I am going to be. So stage is one of them, bigger stages. Another one is sales conversation. If I'm negotiating a big deal and I am seeing that actually I'm afraid to announce the price point, I'm afraid to talk about something specifically, I will actually say, okay, this is a moment where I need extra powers. So it can be in the sales, it can be in your stage performance, it can be in your delivery, it can be in taking a risk, booking a venue or doing a photo shoot for yourself. I would love to see, actually, if you want to share in the chat, what are those environments in which you feel like you need to really step up in yourself. And Sharon is sharing, I have some embodied experience of this, even in the King community, my collar for shifting into my submissive pair of boots that helped me step into my dominant identity. Beautiful. I've appreciated having these tools that have helped me call in the vibration I was desiring to be holding. Yes, absolutely. So it's a vibration that you access, and the play field can be different. So of course it can be in your personal life, something that you're doing that is something that is scary for you. And in the business, it's going to be very powerful for you to do that. So the question I will ask yourself, what I will ask you is, in what parts of your business could you use the superhero version of yourself? In what situation? I'm going to give you an example of a man I met a couple of years ago. A friend of mine introduced us to this incredible man. His name is Eric Partaker. I didn't know about him then, and he ended up becoming CEO of the Year in the Business Excellence Awards. He became one of the top 30 entrepreneurs in the UK, one of the most disruptive entrepreneurs in Britain. And he wrote a book called The 3 Alarms. He told me in that call that he had 3 alarms every day. At 6 a.m., his alarm went off and he became the best athlete in the world. He had another alarm going off that said best CEO in the world. And at 6 p.m. every day, he had a third alarm, best dad in the world. Every day, he had 3 different play fields that he accessed with 3 different archetypes. The first one being the best athlete in the world. He went to the gym every morning, 6 a.m. And then he was showing up at the best athlete in the world. 9 a.m., he went to his office, to his teams, and he became the best CEO in the world. And 6 p.m., he became the best dad in the world. That was his 3 play fields. He had it on every day. So you can choose your play field by the parts of yourself that you want to access. Maybe you are not treating your body with respect and love. So maybe you also need that alter ego for your body, best athlete in the world. Maybe you need to become a better leader in your company. So you want to show up as a CEO in the company, best CEO in the world. Maybe you want to step back, best dad in the world, best stage performer in the world. Like that was his different alter egos that he was accessing. It's not all the time that you have to be that person. You need to know when do you need this extra power. It's not every day, it's not all the time, because most of the day we can go through and be normal humans, because there is a power in that. But there are things that are gonna scare you, things that you know that you can do, but you're afraid to do. And this is where you can step in and have this new identity, blessed new play field is gonna be super important for you. And I read some of your shares. Sharon is sharing stage leader, leading a spiritual group, ritual priestess, healing session, shaman. Incredible. I am a shaman. I'm stepping into the space. When I'm leading this, I'm doing that as a shaman. I need an alter ego when I have an administrative call. I was saying when I want to introduce myself to influencing people, stage, leading a big group, negotiation, sales for sure. Yes, and there's so many moments when there are different play fields that we have. So choose one right now. As you're listening to this, I want you to go through this practice and really think about one alter ego as you are going through this journey. And think about, let's say if you say, I want to be on the stage, or I'm going to be sales conversation. You designed the play field, which is step 2 is going to be define the alter ego. So as you choose, okay, this is the play field. I want to be more performant when I am on stage. I want to be able to get on stage, and I want to be able to be the most powerful, charismatic me when I'm on stage. I don't want to get into this self-doubt, imposter, all these things. I want to feel good. Now, what character person has these traits? Really thinking about who is the person that I know, a real person, a fiction person, maybe even an archetype that can help me in this moment. So for me, for instance, one of the things that I have been exploring a lot last year was the archetype of expansion of love. So as I noticed that as our community was growing, and I was thinking, I want to keep the quality of my connection, my heart open as our community is growing. So I need to practice the unconditional love. And that was my play field, was my moments of interaction with my community. That was really the moment of online interactions. And the alter ego, the character I wanted to access, was a character that has unlimited love. So who I noticed that had that for me was Amma. Maybe you've heard of her. It's a guru in India that is the mother energy. So for me, she represents unconditional love. She can give, and I wanted to learn from her. So what I did was that I put on my phone a screen saver of Amma. So every time I looked on my phone, I saw Amma. And that was my reminder that this is the archetype I am working on right now to embody. So every time I am acting in the moments of giving more of myself in the way of unconditional love, caring for people, caring for community, caring and giving my love, I was practicing to open my heart even more, because I used to be able to really give up my love to very few but deeply. But my practice energetically to open myself to more connection was through this archetype of Amma. It was super helpful for me to be able to really access her. When I separated with my ex-partner, I had this moment of fear of, we had the business together for 13 years. And I said, can I do this business on my own? That was my fear. So I said, do I have the capacity to have a business on my own when I build the business together with my ex-partner? And I asked myself, who is the alter ego? The play field I needed then was to be able to be strong as a woman alone after having a co-founder for 13 years and be able to do everything by myself. And I said, who is the character persona that I can learn from? Who can help me on this moment? If you can guess who I chose, who was the person that I chose in that moment? A woman that has gone through history. She was a real woman. She was an incredible ruler of her country, her empire. And I said to myself, she's going to lead me through this. And it was Cleopatra. Cleopatra for me was the woman that I put on my screensaver before Amma. She helped me to go through that moment when I had to access my powers as the empire builder of the queen, the ruler of my empire. And that was such a powerful moment for me. So I've used that for those type of moments. Many times I have an alter ego for my way of showing up in my community. It can be for my stage, of course, but also for how I show up in my community, but online, in my workshops, in my masterclass. It can also be for specific moments, like with the stage, like I mentioned, having difficult conversations or something else I need to access. I do work with them. So I mentioned how I activate them on a longer term and then I let them go. But more specifically, the play field can also be for a short time. I remember I used to host these retreats with the leaders that was called the next chapter, and we helped them with identity, really identity upgrade and alter ego activation for 5 days in person. We just took them through this journey. And I remember working with this man that had an opportunity to go from having a smaller office, that was the best office in his country, he was part of a franchise, to leading the country. So going from having his own office to being the leader of the whole nation, because he was invited, he got the invitation. And he was saying, I'm not sure if I'm ready, it's so much more responsibility, I don't know if I should take that. And I said to him, what is the alter ego that needs to help you to make this decision? And he said, the captain. I need to be the captain. And he took on that role as being the captain, and he took on the role when he came back because the captain in him could give him a capacity to take that decision. And the beauty of that is that every time, every person who came out of that retreat that we helped with alter ego activation, they all came out with an alter ego for specific moments. They had their best sales months. They took decisions. I had one woman actually deciding to leave her apartment in Paris, leave her relationship, and move to Greece. She had that dream for many years. She had a life in Paris, beautiful apartment, and she said, okay, what I really want to do is my calling, my soul is calling me to go to live in Greece. It has been in my past lives. That's what she was telling. Like, it's been so deep in her. She looked Greek. Her name was Greek. It was incredible, the connection with Greece for her. And she said, I'm ready. Now I have my alter ego, and I don't remember the actual alter ego. I have to ask her. But she took that alter ego, made the decision, sold the apartment, ended the relationship, and moved to Greece. And now she lives in Greece. She went from being a marketer to become a theta healer and working with past life regressions. That was her journey. The power of alter egos, I cannot insist more on really starting to explore this. Step one is choosing your play field in your business. What are the moments when you need the superpowers to access them? Second part is defining the archetypes, the alter egos that you need to work with. So is there one specific for one specific situation? Is it more ongoing? Like I had Cleopatra and Amma that were helping me to really step up on a long-term basis around the business. And what characteristics do they have? What are the traits that they have in them? What do they represent? Because each and one of them represents something that you want to access. And when you have understood that, this is where you get to step 3. How do you actually activate them? And one of the most fun ways to do that is through different type of totems. This is where we get to play like kids, really. You get to, when kids, they were wearing the superhero cape, they are running around and they're playing superhero. It's the same. You do the same, but in your company. You do the same by wearing specific clothes and specific things. So one of the things that many people use when they want to access an alter ego, let's say in business, they want to feel more professional, want to feel more powerful. They will put on glasses. One of my clients many years ago, she wanted to access her queen. She was this beautiful woman, amazing business owner, one of the biggest companies in her country, in her field. And she felt that she wanted to access her feminine. So she bought herself a ring with a crown. And every time she put on the ring, she became the queen. And I love that because it was her ring that reminded her a simple thing. Okay, I need to access my queen now. I'm putting on my ring. The sunglass can be a specific t-shirt, it can be specific something that helps you. One of the women that joined one of our retreats, she was this amazing, fun translator. She used to work internationally as a translator. She would travel to UN and big conventions, and she's very small and very tiny and very smart. And the problem was that she was always and often in environments where there was a lot of men that did not take her seriously. And she felt that she didn't have the power to be in those rooms and step into her own confidence with these men. They were not taking her seriously. So she decided, okay, what is my actual alter ego I need right now? When these men come to me and they're making fun of me and not taking me seriously, I want to become the badass bitch. That's what she wanted to become. I want to become a badass bitch. And she said it that way. I am a badass bitch. I want to step into my bitch. I am badass. I'm going for that. And on her birthday, our community traveled to Paris and they printed a jacket for her. And on the back of the jacket, it said, I'm a badass bitch. So every time she felt that she needed to step up, she was wearing the jacket. And she was wearing that with pride and reminding herself that, okay, I can step up for myself. I have the confidence. And that moment is almost like staying in character. So as soon as you put on the totem, as soon as you put on the ring, the thing that you need to really remind you about the character that you are stepping into. It can be a screensaver, it can be glasses, it can be a ring, it can be certain clothes, certain colors. You are honoring the alter ego. You stay in character. You don't exit that before you are going to take off the ring, take off the jacket, take off the glasses. You are in character, which means that you are honoring the alter ego. When you are going to take your decisions, you're thinking like that person. When I am on the stage and I'm channeling Beyoncé or that person that is helping me right now to become that, I am making an interpretation of how would this person be in this moment. If you want to be more playful, I'm thinking, for me, something that I am learning and relearning again is to become less serious, more silly, more playful, more joyful, like having more of my inner child, having space for my inner child to be myself with everyone. And the person that really inspired me was Bella in this movie that I think I shared with you earlier. It's called Stranger Things. This character, Bella, she's rediscovering the world, and she's a child in a woman's body. And for me, when I want to be playful in the streets and I want to be mesmerized by everything around me, I enter the character Bella. She's reminding me of, wow, okay, this is something that is allowing me to become playful, creative, funny, interact with the world like kids would do. When I want to be more in my spiritual channeler, I want to access that part of me that is the more spiritual, energetics, my being, my power. I'm thinking of this woman that I love that does rewilding for women. Her name is Sabrina Lynn. For me, she just empowers this Kali beautiful energy. And I will think of her energy when I talk. It helps me to tap into that. So I have specific characters for every moment when I want to access a part of myself. Because what it really is, it's not that you are someone else. You are accessing the part of yourself that you have not seen before. So it's beautiful because sometimes we think, but is it, I'm playing a character. You cannot play a character if you don't have it in you. This means that I have Cleopatra in me, I have Amma in me, I have Bella in me, I have Sabrina Lynn in me, I have all these characters that I am visiting. They live in me because they're parts of myself. But they help me, I can access them because I make an interpretation of who they represent for me, and they can take on the role for me in that moment. So my mind can just step out and I can say, okay, now mind, you leave, and I let the character move. So my mind is not blocking my natural powers. I can just say, it's not me, it's this character. But at the same time, it is me because I cannot play a character unless I already am this character. So to recap, the way to access this is, first of all, as you go through the things that you do in your business, choosing the play field that you want to explore. What is this play field that you want to have more power in? And secondly, step 2 is defining a character, an alter ego that can be a fictional or real person, someone you know, someone that you don't know. It can be also an archetype like queen, leader, father, mother, etc. And think about what do they represent for you? What do you want to access? And the third part is activating them. So really stepping into, how can I remind myself this character? Like the reminders would be, if it's long term, I like to have it on my screen. If it's short term, I'll think about a ring, a glasses, a sweater, a jacket, something specific that will help me to remind myself of that. And that way I can stay in character and I can exit the character. So I want to talk a bit more about the parts about this character and relationship to ourselves and when to let go of an alter ego. But before that, I would love to hear, what is your biggest takeaway from this and how can you implement this right now for yourself? So really think about it for yourself. What is the one thing where I am clearly able to step more into my power in my business? B, what is that play field? Is it sales? Is it pricing? Is it a stage? Is it something else? And C, the third part is, how can I remind myself to enter that character? What can I do? Do I want to buy a ring? Do I want to buy a specific color, a scarf? Or do I want to, what do I want to do? Do I want to put something on my table? So anytime I'm opening that, putting that on the table, I will remind myself of that. Like, how can I make reminders that I am in character? And when that thing is away, how can I step out of that? And Sharon is sharing, when I was mediating my divorce, I've been reading about the Hindu goddess Durga, protection, strength, motherhood, destruction, wars. And I channeled her each day. I had mediation appointments. Beautiful, Sharon. Yes, it's very powerful work that we are doing here. When you are starting to work with alter egos in your business, wow, it takes you to another level. Because if you think about it, if you're going to do this work as one of the greatest in your highest limitlessness, that means that maybe you're going to have 100 people in your group program. Maybe you're going to have 1,000 people on your stage. Maybe you will have 1 million on your bank account. Your human in that moment is going to say, oh my God. But your alter ego will remind you that this is completely normal. So, which leads me to understanding the balance between the alter ego and the human. If you want, you can talk about this higher consciousness of yours and the human. You are the human in you and the higher soul, the higher self. The human is still going to be here. The human is still going to need help. And the human is still going to need your love and support and attention. The superhuman in you is going to step in specific moments. We don't forget the human, because Beyoncé, when she's home with her children, she doesn't need to do the dancing and the glitter. She's a mother with her kids and her partner. She's sitting in her pajamas eating ice cream and watching Netflix. Lady Gaga, she's also having days when she's feeling sad. Tony Robbins probably has moments when he's feeling, oh my God, I don't want to do this anymore. We all have human parts. And those moments when the human is saying, I don't want to do this right now. There are moments where we can actually not do it, but there are moments when you don't have the choice because you have a stage coming up. It was horrible. I had, back then, it's not like this anymore, but back then I had so much pain when I had my period that the whole week I was having migraines and I was having headaches and fever. I was feeling really bad for a week. And that week specifically, I'm supposed to speak on TEDx. And I cannot choose to change the date and say, hey guys, I have my period. So in that moment, I needed an alter ego to take over, because before being on the stage, my friend Fabiana was there with me. She had the massage ball and she was massaging my back. And I was just sitting and thinking, okay, I need to go up in 15 minutes. That was the stage I was in. And I went up and I did it. My alter ego stepped in and did it for me. And then I went home and I ate ice cream and I relaxed. Because that moment I needed her. Those are the moments when the human needs the superhuman to come in and lead the show. It can be because you are having a really tough time. Maybe you're booked on television. You're having a big group program that you're leading with hundreds of people. There are moments when we cannot stop everything. Of course, I want you to build a business where you can adapt. But if you're hosting a retreat or leading something really big, and then you have, instead of 10 people, you have 100 people signing up to your group program, the energy is going to be different. Maybe you're going to freak out. Maybe there's going to be self-sabotage patterns coming up. Those are the moments when you want to make sure that you can tap into your superhuman, the alter ego. This is where you're going to ask yourself, what is the situation? What is the alter ego I need in this moment? What are the characteristics? And how can I activate this person, this superhuman in this moment, so I can relax? I don't need to go through all the patterns and self-sabotage and everything. I can just step into this. And there's going to be a moment, if you allow yourself to visit them enough, that you will not need them anymore. This is also the beautiful part. When Beyoncé started her career, she was this gospel girl. She was afraid to be on the stage. She was afraid to dance in sexy clothes. And as she grew to become the woman that she was, and she started to really embody those parts, she decided to let go of Sasha Fierce, her character. And she actually said in an article that they asked her about where is Sasha Fierce. She named the album that. She said, I killed her off. I don't need her anymore. I am Sasha Fierce. So at some point, those parts of yourself, they will become you. But then there will gonna be new challenges where you will need new characters that will help you to the next step. And it's really important to find the balance between not forgetting that there are moments you step into that and there you can come back to yourself, because you don't want that to take over your life. You want to have the balance between the human and the superhuman. The human is living the life. The human is living every day. And there are moments when we're having play fields where we want to activate this part of ourselves. And I love Jim Carrey for this. Of course, Jim Carrey is one of those people that inspired me because he created this character. And if you haven't watched the documentary, Jim and Andy, it's fascinating. It's incredible what happens, how he works with alter ego activation there. And Jim Carrey came from Canada. He was not Hollywood material. His family was not Hollywood material. He decided, he built the character Jim Carrey. He built this silly person. And in the beginning of his career, he was watching the audience and he said, what do they want? And he was asking himself, what do they want? What do they want? What do they want? And then he said, oh, they want to let go. They want to relax. They want to let loose. They want to just have fun. That's what people want when they watch comedy. Let me become it. So he became the character that people wanted to be. They wanted to be free of any expectations. So he became this silly man that was just making jokes and being funny and being silly and making faces and making jokes of everyone. He became that. He became this alter ego, Jim Carrey. And now, if you have seen his work, he has transitioned out of this character. And there's a beautiful quote that I want to finish this part with that goes like this. At some point, when you create yourself to make it, you're going to have to either let that creation go and take a chance on being loved or hated for who you really are. Or you're going to have to kill who you really are and fall into your grave, grasping a character you never were. So it's important to remember that this is a super part of yourself. It's not who you are. It's something that helps you to find parts of who you are, personality traits, characteristics, values. At the end of the day, you become more of yourself. Beyoncé said, I am Sasha Fierce because she wanted to be that woman. That was who she really was. She was not the gospel girl. But Jim Carrey, he had to go through the process of saying, I am not Jim Carrey anymore. I am not this silly man. I have much more depth. I'm much more spiritual. I'm much more connected. I have more to give. I don't want to be this character anymore. This is not who I am. So you need to understand, first of all, when to be that, when to step into that, and also when to let go of that. So you know that you make sure that you are in alignment with who you are. And if you have the vision guiding you, it's going to be very helpful for you, because your vision will help you to remind yourself of, is this who I want to become? I want to become more free, more liberated, more expansive, more abundant. Wherever there is, okay, I'm on the right track. But from Jim Carrey, he became a clown. He became, I'm playing this role for others. This is not who I am anymore. So he had to let go of that. At some point, you have to ask yourself the question, take a chance of being loved or hated for who you really are. You're going to have to kill who you really are, or fall into your grave grasping a character you never were. It's a really interesting moment of knowing how to work with this identity. So this is the last part. The conclusion I want to tell you is that it's a very powerful work And you have to always remember that there is an energy that you have, that you're exploring within yourself, and know for who you are doing that for. Is it for yourself or is it for others? If it's for yourself, if Beyonce did it for herself and she stepped into Sasha Fierce because she wanted to be a liberated woman, amazing. If you're like Jim Carrey, that you did it for the show, at some point you have to let go of that character. I would say that it's one of the most powerful tools I have ever come across. I worked with this for many years for myself. I would say all my clients who have done super extra powerful things with their life, doing things that they felt, oh my God, I didn't never think that I would be able to do this. And in the end of the day, always remember that you do this for yourself, for your vision, for your empowerment, for you becoming more of yourself, not for the others. So this is what I want to end with. And I really wish for you to watch this session anytime that you feel like you need this extra boost of courage when fear takes over, so you can start exploring your alter egos. And yeah, thank you.